What's a hobby someone can have that is an immediate red flag? There was a guy that was angry at his mother because her hobby was to find random people on the net, find everything about them, and message them about it. My name is Betty. You don't know me. I'm a stranger on the internet. I know you work at Big Mike's Pizza 5 days per week. You have a dog named Muffin. You celebrated your 19th birthday last week. You don't have a girlfriend right now. You like Norp. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you, but just wanted you to know. You live on Maple Street. This is a new level of horrifying. I'm pretty sure it's also considered cyberstalking. Kids' beauty pageants. I dated a girl in L.A. who had taken part in beauty pageants going back to when she was a kid. She had a good amount of success with it, and she was most certainly a looker. But man, she was completely crippled with anxiety. Those pageants fuck the girls up that start young. Normally, the kind of mom who puts her daughter in pageants cares a lot about physical appearances. Yeah, imagine the mom hovering over her entire life trying to control how she looks. Oh Lord, you don't even know. My girlfriend was placed in pageants as a kid. She is so used to her mom picking on her looks that she doesn't even notice that she does it to me now. A handful of verbal altercations has slowed the nitpicking, but it's a hard cycle to break. My old roommate used to go out driving on rainy days specifically to splash pedestrians. That seems pretty red flaggy to me. That's straight up evil. Yeah, it is. I remember taking the bus late one Saturday night after work to get Easter candy baskets and toys for my kids the next morning. The right before the bus came, someone purposely splashed me at the bus stop by veering into in the large gutter puddle, and everything was ruined. That's really sad. My favorite hobby when I owned a truck was driving around during bad blizzards and pulling people's cars out of ditches. Speed sewing Moroccan flags. Huge red flag. Cutting the eyes out of pictures of women in magazines. My son is a big fan of that as well. Next, you'll tell me he has a collection of left hands. No, they're right hands only. My grandmother had a habit of cutting out the entire picture of women from every newspaper, book, or magazine that entered her house. She didn't want my grandfather looking at any other women. She got mentally jealous after having a breast cancer scare in the 60s or 70s. Led to a full double mastectomy. We would be reading a popular science magazine sometime and be like, oh, I guess I didn't need to finish that article. Because there would be a big hole there. Funniest thing happened about a month after she passed away. I was driving my grandfather home from somewhere, was stopped at a traffic light. A woman with a tube top on was crossing in front of the car and struggling to keep it up, which failed right in front of my car in full view of my grandfather. I couldn't help but laugh given the bigger picture of the situation. Man, with some therapy she could have had a much happier life than what she trudged on with until the end. It was the 70s. Therapy consisted of, here, take this lithium and try to keep it to 2 or 3 millilitres a night. Running an MLM or being admin, dictator, of a local area Facebook group. Dude, I'm one of the mods in our local FB gardening group. So much drama in what I thought was a peaceful, calming hobby. And on the HOA board. Unless you're on the HOA board after being elected to replace an awful one, someone's got to do it, so it may as well be someone saying. I have dated 2 horse girls in my life and both ended up very similar. Nay. I started riding when I was 7. There are horse girls, and then the other horse girls. And we're all named Laura. Source, Emma Laura. Went to an all-girls riding summer camp. So many Lauras. Holy shit, you're right. The 3 Lauras in my middle school class were all into horses. I've also known a few Rebeccas who were horse girls. I knew a Rebecca who was a horse girl but grew up into a rat girl because it's more affordable. Rebecca's when you have a horse palate but a rat budget. Crushing Monster energy drinks and punching drywall. But what if I do that while listening to Limp Bizkit? Family vlogging. Family vlogging completely violate children's privacy. Using kids to shore up your own online presence is not okay. Even worse, the vast majority of viewers of kid-focused family vlogging are older men, and some of these parents have Patreons with exclusive content, going for like hundreds of dollars. Especially those channels where it's just their kid, playing at a water park, or trying on swimsuits. The comments are always absolutely disgusting. It's so fucked up. Pageantry. Like taking your shirt off but leaving your sunglasses on? I'm just gonna lurk and see if people think my hobbies are red flags. Is lurking a hobby? Am I a red flag? Get M. Dog fighting. Or cock fighting, you know, the bird one. Someone reading a ton of philosophy can easily be a very good sign, or a massive red flag depending on what specifically they're reading so much of. I'm sure they are out there, but I've never met anyone who announced they read a lot of philosophy who didn't turn out to be a bit of a cock. Maybe the fact they announce it is the red flag. If it comes up because it links to the conversation or they're really excited about what they read and want to talk about it, it's usually fine. It's when it seems to be a status thing that it's always a red flag. When I first met my now late significant other, my son wanted to be sure he wasn't a killer and protect me. We were literally neighbors, so one day we walked to his house and my son said, "Let me see that you don't have pictures up of my mom with X's on them." He thought my son meant picture of his exes. Nope, my kid just wanted to be sure there was no shrine to me somewhere with my face crossed out by Sharpie markers. If a person is so preoccupied with their social media that this person hasn't has time to actually live and communicate in the moment, it's fine if you can communicate about it and make arrangements. But I am not dating a person in a three-way relationship with Zuckerberg. I would be totally fine with a person that has to have a heavy social media presence for work. But I would want to be able to set boundaries that work for both on us on it. Yeah, my sister-in-law talks about influencers as if they are her friends IRL. I can't have a conversation with her without her taking out her phone and showing me someone she followed before they got famous. It's exhausting and honestly awful to talk with her. Her husband, my brother, has suggested she see a counselor about it, and believes she genuinely thinks in her head she knows these people. By the way, she's in her late 40s. Collecting blood slides. My friend had one next to his table next to his AC unit. When I asked him about it, he gave me this weird smile and claimed it was for work. I never had beers with him since. I'm pretty wary of anyone that push other people to turn their hobby into a money-making hustle. Empty alcohol bottle collecting. Do university students get a free pass on this one? It's the norm here in a UK university. Larger the set of bottles, the better. Yes, that's just a dumb college kid thing, but if you're 35 doing it, the train to Sad Town is chugging along. If their identity is centered around Disney. Sorry, I said it. Star Wars fans aren't going to like this, but they're Disney adults now. Adopting too many kids' animals, especially when you can't afford them. So, got any hobbies? I collect children. On a first date, casually talking. And well, you know, I guess there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? What? There's 4 ways to skin a cat. Arguing with strangers on the internet, not like usual discussions or anything, just taunting people because you're bored. My mother does this. Goes to FB pages specifically geared towards those who she dislikes, messages them a big long nasty gram, then blocks them before they can fight back. And yes, my mother is fucking exhausting. Anything that they can't really afford. Making $50,000 but collecting Rolex watches? Red flag. Making $40,000 but always buying haute couture fashion items? Red flag. Making any amount of money and into Warhammer? Red flag. Gambling. Casino dealer here, it's almost never a hobby. Forcing their children into pageants, cheerleading, gymnastics. Shit tons of crazies treat this shit like it's their hobby, and it's a massive red flag. I was the happiest person on earth the day my daughter agreed to quit recreational cheerleading. The other mothers were so damn toxic. I used to sit in my car during practice to avoid them. Posting everything, every single thing on social media. What about those sexual anime figurines? I get liking anime, but when your room is full of jailbait anime girls in bathing suits or lewd poses, there's something not so chill going on there, lol. I used to live in Japan, and we would semi-regularly end up at a mall for some food. Get food, break a bill, get change. In Japan, the lowest paper note is about $10, so all the coins would go toward ice cream, then whatever I had left I would take to the arcade and try to win the lewdest, crudest anime waifu figurine I could. One of my friends thought I actually wanted one and got me a Nami figure as a gift. I wasn't going to not display it, but it was hilarious to explain what the story was every time someone new came over. Doll collectors. I'm not gonna enter a house full of dolls. My grandma, born in 1929, an extremely poor child during the Depression, and a few of her sisters collected dolls. They did it because they never had any as a child and could finally afford them, and bonus points for the dolls having clothes and shoes and hairstyles they wished they had growing up. Making fake animal rescue videos, abusing animals, hurting and making fun of homeless people for content. My brother dated a woman who collected animal bones and human teeth, but didn't like animals alive. Cringe. I'm not sure if this counts as a hobby per se, but I can't stand people who get really into astrology. Like, won't date somebody because Leo and Aquarius signs conflict or whatever. Or judges a person based on their star sign. They're insinuating that there are only 12 different kinds of people personalities based on when they were born within the year. It doesn't make sense. At least with crystals, they make for a nice decoration. What hobby is a red flag? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.